I've had a secret crush on Samuel for years. Under the arrangement of both our parents, we got married, but he's always been cold to me since then. That's why, in just 3 years, our marriage has come to an end. But why, on this day of divorce, is Samuel crying in his heart? Victoria, must I cry myself to death before you'll agree not to divorce? Someone tell me, what's really going on here? Not getting divorced? Then what about your little canary? Are you sure you want to divorce? It's very easy for me to stamp this, but once it's done, there's no turning back. The staff at the divorce registration office held my and Samuel's marriage certificate, trying to persuade us. I replied, yes, I'm sure. Samuel also nodded without saying a word. He's always like this, as if he were the mermaid prince, where every word spoken out of water causes excruciating pain, making him extremely sparing with words. The staff sighed and handed us a form. Isn't this supposed to be the divorce certificate? What's this? I asked in confusion, looking at the divorce registration application acceptance receipt in my hand. The staff member explained to me, there's a cooling-off period for divorce now. It's 30 days. After 30 days, bring this receipt back, and you can get your divorce certificate. If you change your mind during that time, you can come back to withdraw the application. Fine, after 3 years, what's another 30 days anyway? But the moment my hand touched that receipt, a voice rang in my ears, ah. I was startled and immediately withdrew my hand. The voice was gone? There's no one around here. Did I mishear? I directly held the receipt slip in my hand, but the voice rang out again, it's over, it's over. Victoria is really going to divorce me. I looked at Samuel, what did you just say? Samuel, I didn't say anything. But then another voice spoke up, it's just that I'm dying, I can't live a single day without Victoria. Do I have to cry myself to death before you'll stop this divorce? I looked at Samuel, still poker-faced, but that voice was unmistakably his. Is this a ghost haunting me or have I gone insane? I still have work, I need to go. I put on my hat, mask, and sunglasses, stepping out, eager to leave first. This isn't the place to linger, not just because it might be haunted, but mainly because I'm afraid of getting photographed. If someone snaps a shot, tomorrow's headlines will read, famous actress Victoria spotted at marriage registration office. Samuel grunted in acknowledgement, but the moment I turned to leave, his thoughts began, Victoria, Victoria, look back at your helpless but handsome husband. I truly couldn't have imagined Samuel's inner monologue being so dramatic. Unable to resist, I glanced back. Sure enough, still sporting a poker face. Victoria looked at me, Victoria definitely still loves me. No, my left profile looks better, I should adjust my stance. Thank goodness I was fully masked, otherwise, my expression might have terrified everyone around. Even though I'm quite adept at wearing high heels, amidst these inner thoughts, I still carelessly almost tumbled down the stairs, and Samuel swiftly caught me in his arms. Hee hee, my wife is so soft and fragrant. It's only been 3 years of marriage, and I've already managed to hold her. At this rate, a kiss is surely within reach too. Although Samuel and I have been married for 3 years and live in the same villa, I've always slept on the 3rd floor while he stays on the 2nd, neither of us crossing the other's boundaries. Samuel's behavior today was highly unusual. I quickly escaped from the scene and got into the car. But I could still hear Samuel saying, hee hee, my wife is blushing, so cute. Can someone tell me what on earth is happening? Have I awakened some special ability? I sat in the car, focusing intently on the driver, trying to use my special power. But I heard nothing at all. Just as I was getting confused, the driver finally couldn't take it anymore. Miss, you staring at me like this is really creeping me out. I quickly explained, no, I was just spacing out. You focus on driving, don't be scared. The driver finally relaxed and said, Miss, didn't you have a crush on Mr. Samuel back in school? Why are you suddenly getting a divorce? Sigh. I let out a long sigh and didn't answer. After all, love is something that can't be explained in just a few words. Samuel and I were classmates in high school and college. Our parents were business partners and had a very good relationship. My parents knew about my crush on Samuel, so they did everything they could to set us up. But Samuel never liked me. Moreover, we were both very busy with work. I often had to fly around the country for photo shoots, while he single-handedly managed a vast family business. We spent far more time apart than together. I had thought that over time, feelings would naturally develop. Yet, it turned out Samuel was an utterly unyielding rock. No, not even a rock, since rocks still conduct heat. He was more like an ice block that refused to thaw. But when I saw him laughing 100 times brighter with his secretary than he ever did with me, I knew I had to let go. So I took the initiative to file for divorce, and that tight-lipped man didn't refuse. But now, what I heard, was it just my imagination, or was it real? Back at the studio, I repeatedly tested my special ability, but just like with the driver, there was no reaction. Could it be that this power only works on Samuel? Today I finished the shoot early and, unusually, went home ahead of time. Unexpectedly, Samuel was home too. Victoria is back so early today, she must be missing me. I put down the bag in my hand, lay on the sofa, and tried to listen carefully to Samuel's voice, but there was only silence, not a sound could be heard. What's going on again? Did my special ability fail, or did my mental illness heal itself? I picked up the bag again, and sure enough, Samuel's voice appeared once more. Samuel handed me a box. This is from my sister for you. I opened it and saw a sapphire. Sapphire is my lucky stone, and I've always loved collecting them. Samuel's sister is very kind to me and often gifts me jewelry, always things I truly adore. 2 months ago, Victoria mentioned during a live stream that she wanted this sapphire. She'll definitely be happy if I give it to her now. What? This was sent by Samuel? Joy spread across my face. That voice sounded again. Indeed, the love guide didn't lie. The first trick to pursuing a girl is to give her gifts she likes. If I had bought it sooner, maybe Victoria wouldn't have divorced me. Fool, when others send gifts, they do it under their real name. Sending anonymously doesn't work. Suddenly, I felt like teasing him. A gift from Sis? Then I should call her to say thank you. I picked up my phone, pretending to make the call. Sure enough, Samuel rushed over in a hurry. No, don't. I asked, why not? Samuel stammered, because. My heart was saying, my silly Victoria, because I forgot to coordinate with my sister this time. What if she accidentally spills the beans? I could see Samuel's CPU was about to overheat, so I said, never mind, you're right. Something this valuable should be thanked for in person next time. After my research, I found that my special ability only works on Samuel, and it only activates when I'm carrying that divorce receipt with me. While eating, I kept glancing up at Samuel from time to time. He had just urgently excused himself to take a work call, and upon returning, he said to me, you can just call your sister to thank her, it doesn't have to be in person. You're such a clever young man. After knowing Samuel for so many years, I'm just now realizing how interesting he really is. The young lady is always happiest when dining with the master, Ellis the butler said to me with a kind expression, not giving me a chance to explain before turning away, leaving me alone to face Samuel, whose heart was currently setting off fireworks. Ellis, how could you say that? Indeed. That voice echoed again. Ah, Victoria must adore me to death. I held back again and again but finally couldn't hold it anymore. Why aren't you having lunch with your secretary today? Samuel, what secretary? I put down my chopsticks, trying hard not to sound sarcastic. That young beauty in her 20s who studied abroad, caught your eye at first sight, and then became your personal secretary. Although somewhat puzzled, Samuel still answered me. I had lunch with her yesterday. I don't need to accompany her every day, do I? It's always most enjoyable dining with my Victoria. Great. So the one with a split personality isn't me, it's you, you bastard. I stood up with a jerk. I'm not eating anymore, I'm tired. I quickly walked to the elevator and was about to press the button to go up to the 3rd floor. Behind me, Samuel started again. Where did I upset Victoria again? Why did Victoria mention Grace? Does Victoria not like Grace? But Grace has been living abroad with my aunt, and Victoria has never even met Grace. Why should I have to eat with Grace every day? She's just some cousin I barely know. Huh? A cousin? I withdrew my hand from the elevator button and returned to the dining table. Not tired anymore, let's keep eating. Samuel looked even more puzzled. After hesitating, he still asked, is it because Grace didn't attend the wedding banquet last time? Are you holding it against her? No, I'm not, I quickly denied. Samuel said, then why do you seem unhappy whenever Grace is mentioned? Nothing like that. I just suddenly felt a bit tired earlier, but then when I reached the elevator, I realized I wasn't tired anymore. I'm just a little hungry, that's all. I was afraid Samuel would overthink things again. If there's time, invite Grace over for a meal. I'll ask Alice to prepare a few more dishes. Samuel nodded in confusion. Victoria seems a bit strange. Could it be? Samuel's eyes lit up. I get it, Victoria misunderstood the relationship between Grace and me. She's jealous. Victoria must really love me to death. Could the divorce be because Victoria thought I? Forget it, this meal is completely ruined. This time I'm truly exhausted. The next day, during the press conference for my new movie, just as I was answering reporters' questions, I heard Samuel's voice. Strange, why would he come here? Victoria's on-screen look is truly stunning. This is bound to be a huge hit. I should invest more to enhance the production quality. What? Samuel invested in this drama? Could it be that the director chose me as the leading lady because of Samuel's investment? After the press conference, I immediately went to find the director and asked, Stephen, does Sonyui Group have an investment in this drama? Stephen looked at me strangely, how did you know? So that's how it is. I thought I got this leading role because the director recognized my talent. Turns out I was just brought in with financial backing. Then I can't accept this role. Find someone else. I can't accept this, I'll earn my own opportunities. I don't need to rely on my parents, let alone my husband. Stephen was puzzled, what do you mean? Do you have some grudge against Sonyui Group? I said, I want to win the female lead role based on my own abilities. I don't want you to choose me just because of some investment. Stephen, who had just had a bit to drink and was already a little lightheaded, was now completely baffled by my words. What does Sonyui Group investing in this film have to do with you? They invested in me because they recognized my talent. Now it was my turn to be confused. When did Sonyui Group decide to invest? I felt like things might not be what I had imagined. Stephen said, a few days ago. But my female lead was already cast months ago. Stephen seemed to realize something. Could it be that the reason Sonyui Group invested in our movie is because its CEO wants to pursue you? Stephen earnestly advised me, Victoria, although you are indeed very beautiful and a good match for Samuel, I advise you not to overthink it. Because when Samuel was investing, I asked if he wanted to push someone in, wanted to promote someone. I even asked if Samuel had taken a liking to any of the actresses or actors in our show. Do you know what Samuel said? What did he say? Stephen said mysteriously, he straight up told me, I have a wife. It wasn't at all the situation we were imagining. I replied awkwardly, well, that was me overthinking things. Yes, Sonyui Group has previously invested in some movies and TV series, so it's not surprising that they're investing in us this time. Mainly, it's because of my reputation that can bring them good returns. They're purely investing in me for money and profits. This is great. Some of my scenes don't have many shots, and I originally didn't plan to shoot on location. But now, we can go all out with real locations. Let's shoot the first scene outdoors. Stephen was still muttering, but I had stopped listening. So he had been supporting me silently all along, without breaking the rules of the game. I sat in the living room eagerly, waiting for Samuel to come home. Maybe today we could clear things up, and tomorrow we wouldn't have to go get our divorce certificate. But I underestimated Samuel. The moment Samuel saw me, what he actually thought was, "This is the last dinner with Victoria." I took a few deep breaths, telling myself not to take it to heart, and put on a bright smile. "You're back. Go wash your hands and get ready for dinner." Samuel grunted in response. "Are you this happy just thinking about divorcing me tomorrow?" "All right then." I reined in my smile. "This was specially prepared for you by Ellis. Give it a try." Samuel wiped his hands and sat down. "Thank you." What he really thought was, as expected, Victoria wouldn't even give me one more smile. Couldn't she see all these years of effort I put in? Enough is enough. I slammed the table. "We're getting divorced tomorrow. Don't you have anything to say to me?" Samuel thought for a moment. "What time tomorrow? Is this all you wanted to say to me?" I found it hard to believe. "Can't you just speak your mind directly?" Samuel nodded and added, "Any time is fine. I've deliberately cleared my schedule for tomorrow." With a smile, I repeated "great" 3 times, "Then it's settled. We'll leave at 9 tomorrow morning." At night, lying in bed, I habitually picked up the receipt, wanting to hear what Samuel downstairs was thinking. "Victoria, how can a 37-degree mouth utter such icy words? Perhaps the truest love is letting go. I should face the facts. Victoria simply doesn't like me. Only by leaving me will Victoria truly be happy. I'm utterly useless. Why can't I just declare my love outright? Honestly, I'd like to ask you the same thing. I really want to pry open his brain and see what kind of wiring he's got in there. Forget it, I'll help you one last time. All because I like you too." Originally, the scheduled date to join the set was next month. But considering Samuel's thick-headedness, I had no choice but to arrive at the filming location ahead of time in the dead of night, accompanied by my assistant Winnie. I told the director that I wanted to get into character early, so I came to live here for a few days to experience the local vibe. The director had no reason to disagree, especially since I paid for it myself. Winnie, however, found it odd. "Victoria, we deliberately turned down other jobs and set off in the middle of the night just to experience life here?" I couldn't exactly say it was to escape my divorce, so I just braced myself and said yes. Of course, Winnie couldn't guess my real thoughts. "Then can I make a post about it? Let everyone know how dedicated to work our Victoria is." Of course not. That would be a joke. It'd reveal to Samuel that I intentionally left. Then how about I find a paparazzo to take some photos and issue a statement, subtly hinting that you're passionate about your work? Winnie refused to give up. "We can't just work in silence without anyone noticing, right?" I lay down directly, covering my face with a hat. "Winnie, just give it a rest." Before leaving, I sent Samuel a message. I made a last-minute decision to join the production early. The divorce might have to wait. We'll talk when I get back. Blushing, I sent the message, and Samuel replied quickly. I took a look. Blockhead. His reply was just, "Okay. Okay, my foot. You're going to lose me at this rate." Though I bet someone here is saying okay outwardly while fireworks are going off in their heart. The next afternoon, I stared at the chicken soup in front of me, lost in thought. Samuel must have read some How to Woo Women guidebook again. Sending me chicken soup during my shoot? Perhaps the curiosity in my eyes was too obvious, because Samuel spoke up. "Ellis made this chicken soup for you. I was passing by, so I brought it over." I don't know what the truth is, because after the acknowledgement receipt expired, my special ability stopped working. But with nearly half the country between us, you're telling me it was on your way? I asked him, "Is there any reason you came here?" Samuel nodded but didn't explain why. I figured he wouldn't say. Whatever, he'll probably leave soon anyway. I can ask Ellis about it later when he's gone. Samuel glanced at the chicken soup. "Drink it while it's still hot," he said. "Did you fly here? How is the soup still hot after traveling such a long distance?" Samuel nodded, "Yeah." "All right then." I said thanks and started drinking the soup. Seeing me in a good mood, Samuel gathered his courage and began, Victoria, about our divorce, could we, maybe, put it on hold for a while? It's possible, but... Why? Don't you want to divorce? Samuel gave me a surprisingly fluent response. There's a product project launching at my company. Getting a divorce now would significantly impact our stock price. I nodded, but we had a secret marriage. No one knew we were married, and no one would know if we got divorced either. How could it possibly affect your company? Samuel hastily said, there's definitely an impact, anyway. With that, he walked away, his arms and legs moving in an awkward, uncoordinated manner. Not that he seemed worried about tripping. Still, at least there was some progress. Watching him finally start to show a hint of understanding, I felt those years of waiting weren't in vain, and I happily sipped my chicken soup. I thought Samuel and I were finally making some headway. But as I stared at today's headline news, I felt like my world was about to split apart. President of Songwei Group and rising star Linda's romantic relationship exposed. Songwei Group CEO publicly kisses Linda. The news has flooded the headlines. In the photo, Samuel is holding Linda by the arm, looking quite intimate. If I didn't know Samuel so well, I might have believed the rumors were true. Even Stephen came over with his phone and said, "See, Victoria, I told you were overthinking it. Looks like this Linda is Samuel's wife." Stephen, have you gotten old and lost your eyesight too? I'm your rightful wife sitting right here, and you're talking to me like this? Winnie suddenly said, I don't think so. This Samuel seems to be just politely helping her, right? What if this Linda did it on purpose? It has to be Winnie, no one understands better than you. Stephen, however, smiled and said, what do you know? For news like this, Songwei Group couldn't possibly be unaware. Usually, such studios would send it to the parties involved first to see if there's any leverage. If the news were fake, Songwei Group could sue them into oblivion. Since it's been published, it means Songwei Group is tacitly allowing it. Winnie nodded. Stephen, you're so knowledgeable. Victoria, don't you agree? I was about to say something when Samuel's call came through. I took the phone and went into the room to answer it. Samuel anxiously explained, it's fake. She did it on purpose. Of course, I knew that. I asked, so what are you going to do? The more you clarify this kind of news, the messier it gets. Samuel replied, I'm going to buy that hotel and release the surveillance footage from that time. It's true that wealth breeds willfulness. After much deliberation, I still find this situation unacceptable. He likes me, but he won't say it out loud. Are we just going to keep pining for each other in secret until the end of the world? I've decided to force his hand. After wrapping up the film shoot, I brought up divorce with Samuel again. Samuel said, is this still about that Linda incident? I swear I've never even exchanged a word with her. Victoria, you have to believe me. Seeing my silence, Samuel added, once we finalize the hotel purchase, I'll show you the security footage immediately. People really do rise to the occasion when pushed. He'd never strung so many words together for me before. But I still held back my laughter. Our divorce has nothing to do with her. The reason we divorced is that there was no love. Why should a marriage without love continue? I thought Samuel would confess his feelings for me. But to my surprise, after waiting for so long, he just replied with a single word, okay. What the hell, Samuel? I thought your brain was as dense as a block of wood, impossible to enlighten, but turns out you don't have a brain at all. All right. Let's go tomorrow. I was practically fuming with rage. I had given him so many opportunities, but did he really expect me, a girl, to be the one to bring it up first? Samuel fell silent again, and I angrily returned to my room. But I immediately regretted it. Though Samuel has his personality flaws, I finally found out that he likes me too. Should I really give up now? Sigh, what should I do? Are we really going to get divorced tomorrow? Would that be a waste of national resources? Why isn't tomorrow the weekend? This is such a headache. The next day, I sat on the sofa, waiting for him to wake up so we could talk properly. but no matter how long I waited, he never showed up. Did he sneak out early in the morning? Ellis, has Samuel already left? I was too embarrassed to knock on his door, so I had to ask Ellis instead. Ellis said, "No, sir hasn't gotten up yet this morning." Still in bed at this hour? Could he have run away in the middle of the night? I thought about it and pulled Ellis along to knock on the door. We knocked for a long time with no response. When we opened the door, we found Samuel still lying in bed with the window wide open, the entire room as cold as an icebox. Samuel was burning up with fever, no wonder he hadn't gotten up. I quickly called the driver, and the three of us rushed Samuel to the hospital. The doctor said it was likely fever caused by exposure to the cold, nearly developing into pneumonia. How did he suddenly catch a cold? Samuel has always been in good health, and he was fine just yesterday. How could he develop such a high fever today that he couldn't even get up? I recalled entering his room earlier, the window was wide open in such cold weather. Could he have taken a cold shower and stayed frozen all night? Ellis and the driver went back first, saying they'd prepare some food to bring over later. Watching the sleeping Samuel, I held his hand, at least his fever had gone down now. Why is he so foolish? Victoria, Samuel said hoarsely, why are you crying? Seeing him awake, I couldn't care less about restraint and threw myself by the bedside. Why are you so foolish? If you didn't want a divorce, why didn't you say so? Did you have to torment yourself like this, making me feel heartbroken? Samuel sat up and held me, asking, does Victoria feel heartbroken for me too? I nodded. I thought Victoria didn't like me, but I really didn't want a divorce. I gently tapped Samuel on the chest, you're such a fool. If I didn't like you, why would I have married you? Samuel's brain probably overheated again, I thought my parents forced you into it. Samuel quickly recovered. Seeing that we had reconciled, Ellis remarked with emotion, it's been a long time since I've seen the young lady smile so brightly. The chauffeur also chimed in, indeed, this is the first time I've ever seen the master smile. Where did you all learn these cheesy Mary Sue Butler lines from? Samuel and I were sitting in the home theater, clinging to each other like glue while watching a movie, though I didn't absorb a single thing from the film. Ah. Sweet romance has finally come my way. Then Winnie's call came through, popping all those pink bubbles in an instant. You'd better have something important to say, I answered the phone, unable to hide my irritation. Look at the news, Winnie stammered. I opened my phone and was completely stunned. What's wrong, Victoria? I handed the phone directly to Samuel. Your new scandal. Top actress Victoria is actually the other woman, interfering in the marriage between Linda and CEO Samuel. Victoria and President Samuel intimately embraced, entering the villa and not emerging for 3 days. The real wife Linda fainted from anger right on the set. I don't even dare to click and see how netizens are commenting about me under these news articles. Samuel frowned tightly, what kind of mess is all this? I remembered the previous incident involving Linda, didn't you release the surveillance footage last time? There's a cooling off period for the acquisition, but we should be able to get it in the next couple of days. I found it very strange, logically speaking, such news should have been forwarded to your PR department. How could it have been carelessly made into headlines? Samuel didn't understand the twists and turns of the entertainment industry. I could only call his agent, Lily, who must have investigated. Sure enough, Lily quickly explained the whole situation to me. Linda deliberately staged the scene by hiring someone to follow and film her, just to capture that moment when Samuel helped her up. Seeing that Samuel didn't clarify, she even tacitly allowed the assumption that she was his wife. This time, the footage of me and Samuel was also intentionally leaked online by her, and those malicious comments were likely paid for by her as well. Since Samuel and I had already come to an understanding, clarifying the situation was very simple. We both issued statements simultaneously. I have a legally recognized marital relationship with Victoria and Samuel. We have been married for 3 years and share a stable emotional bond, with no third party involved. Regarding this incident, we have already engaged a lawyer to follow up. The accompanying image shows our marriage certificate. Samuel additionally shared a surveillance video with the caption, "The innocent need not fear investigation." My goodness, they're truly a perfect match, a talented man and a beautiful woman. I think Victoria is much more attractive than that troublemaker Linda. Didn't Linda faint from anger? What's she so mad about? After 3 years of marriage, he managed to keep it hidden so well. He's really something. Haha, I'm an employee at this hotel. Samuel wanted the surveillance footage, so he just bought the entire hotel outright. Oh my God, that's ridiculously rich. I smiled in satisfaction as I watched the changing tides of public opinion online. Linda actually had the audacity to release a statement claiming she was also a victim of this farce, insisting Samuel had merely offered a polite gesture of support and there was no other relationship between them. As for her fainting episode, she blamed it on media outlets making wild speculations, explaining she collapsed due to excessive work stress. But everyone saw the surveillance footage clearly. Linda and Samuel weren't even standing that close initially. She deliberately inched toward him step by step before suddenly collapsing. This kind of statement was laughable when put out in public. Though Samuel might seem clumsy around me, he acts with swift and decisive measures. This Linda definitely won't be able to keep up her act for long. Samuel just made a few simple phone calls, and soon endorsements started dropping from Linda's side. Even the TV drama that was scheduled for release got postponed. I thought this Linda would finally give up. But both Samuel and I forgot one thing: when you corner a dog, it will fight back. Faced with a hefty compensation, she actually threw caution to the wind and outright released photos of Samuel and me at the marriage registry office. Online opinions shifted, claiming that our so-called 3-year marriage was never real. Linda was forced to admit she had no relationship with Samuel. They outright labeled Samuel and me as frauds. There were even insiders who dug up that although Samuel and I were high school and university classmates, according to the marriage timeline we mentioned, we had gotten our marriage certificate just a few years after graduating from university. But in reality, we didn't get married because of love, it was more of a business alliance. My family background was also exposed. It turns out I wasn't some Cinderella rising from the slums, but a wealthy heiress who had taken her mother's surname. More and more insiders revealed that Samuel and I had no real affection for each other at all. I've worked at Songwe Group before and never once saw the boss's wife come by. Currently employed at Songwe Group. The CEO has a personal assistant, young, pretty, and parachuted into the position. Hard not to read between the lines. Samuel looked at these comments online. Maybe I should just buy this forum too. You can buy the forum, but you can't buy people's mouths. I took Samuel's phone away and pulled him down to sit. Let it go, just let it cool down. When new news comes out, these old ones will fade away, I comforted. No, they can criticize me, but they can't deny my feelings for you. Samuel has been speaking more openly lately. I wonder if he picked up some of those catchy phrases online. Of course, I also hope people wouldn't spread such rumors, but simply wishing for it isn't enough. The public has always been fascinated by these high society dramas and celebrity romances. The key is, they aren't entirely wrong either. Over the past 3 years, Samuel and I barely spoke much, even though we liked each other. We just never said it out loud. We didn't even know we liked each other, so how could anyone else possibly know? Lily acted decisively. The topic was so hot that not promoting it now would be a waste. After discussing with Stephen, they moved up the movie's promotional schedule. Samuel was puzzled by our decision. Victoria, everyone's laughing at you right now. If you keep promoting like this, won't people just reject it? I shook my head. Most of these comments online are from my anti-fans. Even if I had no flaws, they'd create some. So it doesn't matter. Samuel certainly knew I had a lot of haters, but he found it strange. Victoria is so wonderful, how could she have haters? If I'm so great, why didn't you say anything in the past 3 years? Samuel thought for a moment. Because my brain doesn't work well? I shook my head with a smile. No, because we were both mute. Samuel couldn't help but laugh when he heard me say that. Ellis looked at us with a smile. Indeed, Miss Still. I quickly interrupted, Ellis, you've used that phrase last time. Have you been reading too little Mary Sue literature lately? Ellis was shocked, have I? My memory isn't what it used to be. What about this one then? It's the first time I've seen the master. Samuel quickly cut in, we've covered this already, Ellis. The lexicon needs regular updates. I originally intended to handle this matter with silence, but unexpectedly, the situation escalated. Various false rumors and non-existent scandals about me started surfacing, and even Sunway Group's stock price began to fluctuate. Left with no choice, we had no option but to hold a press conference and broadcast it live in its entirety. Lily waved her hand, one at a time. Today, we'll address all your concerns. Hand in hand, Samuel and I walked into the venue. After taking our seats, we began answering questions from the reporters. Mr. Samuel, were you two going to register in that photo? Samuel cleared his throat and said, let me answer that. We weren't there to register, but I can't disclose the specifics at the moment. It's still in progress, and I'd like to direct everyone's attention to the official announcement from Sunway Group at a later date. Because of that photo incident, Samuel and I decided to clarify the misunderstanding by framing it as a welfare charity activity. The Sunway Group is currently coordinating on this and will soon release an official statement about the charitable initiative. Victoria, look at me. Is this news just promotion for your new show? I nodded, this incident wasn't for promoting the new show. Besides, who would keep promoting from filming to wrap up? Steven's films are always slow-cooked to perfection. Even if I started promotions now, you'd all forget by the time the movie releases. Mr. Samuel, what's your real relationship with Linda? Was the video edited? Samuel replied, I had never met Ms. Linda before that video incident, but this situation did remind me that a wise man keeps away from danger. As for the editing question, those were raw surveillance footages. We just added head stickers to protect everyone's privacy. The entire room burst into laughter, and a reporter who had asked the question also felt embarrassed and quickly sat down. But one person didn't wait to be called on and stood up abruptly, demanding sharply, Mr. Samuel and Victoria's marriage is purely a business arrangement, without any real feelings. Isn't that the truth? Samuel and I exchanged glances and shook our heads in unison. Samuel spoke first, from the moment I first met Victoria, I've always liked her. It's not what you're imagining. Moreover, Sunway Group doesn't need to rely on business marriages. Quickly, I grabbed the water glass and took a sip to mask my gleeful expression. Turning to glance at Samuel, he appeared calm as usual, but his ears were burning bright red. So subtle. I also met Samuel's gaze firmly and replied, yes, although Samuel and I don't appear together publicly, it's because I don't want undue attention due to our families. I want to carve my own path in the entertainment industry relying on my own efforts. Samuel has always supported me in this. As for the claim of a marriage of convenience, that's entirely baseless. Reality isn't like fiction, our families don't need to rely on each other for advantages, nor do we have particularly close business ties. Unexpectedly, the reporter remained unconvinced and scoffed, then what about Mr. Samuel's secretary? Promoted to executive secretary in her 20s, does that seem reasonable? Samuel felt a bit awkward when he was asked about Grace. The secretary has been studying abroad all along, with outstanding academic performance. Although there were some concerns about her when she first joined, everyone in the company has come to admire her after working together these past few months. However, regarding the issue you raised, we will definitely pay more attention and ensure greater transparency in personnel appointments going forward. Idiot, you still haven't explained it clearly. I quickly continued, Grace is very passionate about her work. Even 3 years ago when Samuel and I got married, she couldn't attend because of her internship. But as her cousin's wife, I absolutely support her dreams, there's no way I'd hold that against her. The reporters looked at each other. Sister-in-law? So she's a cousin. After answering everyone's questions, Samuel and I finally breathed a sigh of relief, only to have our phones ring simultaneously. Samuel and I quickly drove home, only to find both sets of parents waiting for us to explain ourselves. Samuel, I'm sorry for putting you through this. It's all Victoria's fault for insisting on entering the entertainment industry. Otherwise, none of this would have happened. I didn't expect my mom to point the finger at me right away. Mom, who exactly is your dear daughter here? Mom, please don't say that. It's my fault. I shouldn't have been standing at the hotel entrance that day, and I should have announced our marriage sooner. Samuel picked up a cup of tea. I'll punish myself with this drink. That's right, it must be Samuel's fault. Victoria is the most well-behaved one, my mother-in-law said. I quickly moved from my mom's side to sit next to my mother-in-law, handing her a grape in an attempt to please her. As expected, my mother-in-law still treats me more affectionately. She's not well-behaved. Not at all. It's been 3 years since they got married, and she still hasn't considered having a child. Mom never misses a chance to criticize me or push me to have a baby. Now, here we go again, bringing up the topic of children. Both Samuel and I fall silent. How can we explain this? It's not like we can say we've had a platonic marriage for the past 3 years. Two mute people got married for 3 years, mainly not talking and not sharing a room. The kid can't just fall from the sky, right? Fortunately, Ellis kept his mouth shut and didn't snitch. Seeing that I wasn't speaking, Samuel stepped in to defuse the tension. Victoria and we're still young, there's no rush to have kids. We'll think about it in a few years, just wait a few more years. My dad was getting annoyed too and turned to father-in-law, saying, shall we just go outside for a smoke? Victoria's mom can't stop talking about having kids. Once she starts, there's no stopping her for half the day. Mom lightly smacked Dad's arm, you and your big mouth. Fortunately, the crisis was averted, and my parents left after dinner. After seeing them off, Samuel and I sat on the sofa, finally able to relax. Looking at each other, we suddenly couldn't help but laugh. I tossed a pillow at him. What are you laughing at? It's all your fault. Samuel caught the pillow, moved closer to me, and hugged me. Yeah, it's all my fault. Blame me for not having a mouth. What's this then? I reached out and tapped his lips. Samuel suddenly stood up. Ellis, you should go to bed early. Victoria and I don't need any care here. I was puzzled. What are you doing? Samuel pushed me down onto the sofa, doing something I don't want Ellis to see. I felt shy and immediately pushed him away. There are surveillance cameras in the living room. I thought he should understand my hint, but surprisingly, Samuel didn't. He even brought out a Go board, wanting to have an intense match with me. Lying in bed, I found myself unable to sleep. It had been 3 years. If before, there were misunderstandings between Samuel and me, now that they were resolved, why were we still sleeping separately? Suddenly, Samuel's inner monologue came to mind. It's only been 3 years of marriage, and I've already held my wife. At this rate, kissing is just around the corner. What does this mean? Could it be that he's into super slow-paced romance? Holding hands after 3 years, a kiss after a decade, and by 20 years, wow, they might finally French kiss. Following this pace, wouldn't they have to wait until they're 80 to sleep together? But what would be the point of sleeping together at 80? The more I thought about it, the more I broke out in a cold sweat. This is terrible. After much deliberation, I still had no idea who to ask about this. All I could do was pick up my phone and post about it on a throwaway account to seek advice from the masses. I have a friend who's been married to her husband for 3 years. They've secretly liked each other but never confessed until recently when they finally opened up. However, they still sleep in separate rooms. What do you all think is the reason? I thought about it and added a line. The reason they didn't say it was because both parties were mute. To avoid disbelief, I changed 3 years to 1 year. There were many night owls online, and replies flooded in immediately after posting. Another case of making up a friend trope. Looks like clickbait to me. How could any man resist sharing a room with someone he likes? That's right, it must be a lie. I didn't expect all the following comments to go in this direction, and I couldn't be bothered to prove him wrong. Feeling like the post was pointless, I was about to delete it when I suddenly saw one comment. "There's only one reason, the man is no good." A bolt from the blue. Netizens were all saying they never expected Victoria to be feasting so well in private. Who could have guessed I never got a taste? Now, not only that, I might never get the chance in the future either. No. If there really is a problem, we shouldn't avoid seeking medical help. With modern science being so advanced, there's always a way to treat it. I threw my phone aside and was about to open the door to go talk to Samuel. To my surprise, when I opened the door, Samuel was standing right outside. "You. Why are you standing outside my door in the middle of the night?" I was startled. The air conditioner in my bedroom broke, so I was just. Samuel must have thought about this excuse for a long time, as he stammered while saying it. "Right, the weather in October is neither too hot nor too cold. Why would you even turn on the AC? Then do you want me to fix the air conditioner for you?" I joked. Samuel waved his hand. "No need for that, I can just make do here for the night." However, after getting to know each other over the night, I came to realize two things. First, Samuel isn't very good at lying. The second thing, what netizens said about him being incompetent is wrong. Samuel is actually quite capable. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the curtains into the room. I nestled in Samuel's arms, too lazy to move. He leaned down and kissed my forehead, his voice hoarse from just waking up. "Good morning, darling." I looked up at him and couldn't help but laugh. "Didn't you say the air conditioner was broken yesterday? How did you fix it overnight?" Samuel's ears turned red again, and he cleared his throat, pretending nothing had happened. "Well, maybe it just figured things out on its own." I burst out laughing and pinched his cheek. "Samuel, that's the lamest excuse I've ever heard." He caught my hand, gently brought it to his lips for a kiss, his gaze so intense it made my heart skip a beat. "Then next time I'll just say the truth. I want to hold you, kiss you, and sleep beside you, all right?" My face flushed as I buried it against his chest and muttered softly, "You should have done this sooner. Staying silent for 3 years nearly cost us our marriage." He chuckled low, the vibration rumbling against my ear. "I won't let you run away again. I secretly tore up the divorce receipt long ago. Do you dare?" I glared up at him, only to meet his eyes full of tenderness. "I don't." He leaned down to kiss me, his voice low and resolute. "Not in this lifetime." The birds chirped crisply outside the window, while warmth filled the room. 3 years of mute, unspoken love finally transformed into brazen sweetness at this moment. From then on, my special ability never came in handy again, because Samuel finally learned to speak his heart out loud. And I, at last, understood that some loves are not about not loving, but loving too deeply, so awkwardly that one doesn't know how to speak. Fortunately, we both waited until the day when we could finally say it to each other.